सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। When I used to study Sanskrit in Sandeepany Sadhanalaya, along with this verse, Pathami Samskritam Nityam, we used to chant one more verse before we began the study of this beautiful language, Sanskrit. So that shloka we are going to see today. Okay, what is that shloka? Let us see. I will chant, please repeat after me. Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Vakyakaram Vararuchim Paninim Sutrakaram Cha Sada Vande Munitrayam. Together. Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Vakyakaram Vararuchim Paninim Sutrakaram Cha Sada Vande Munitrayam. This is the verse that we used to chant. What is this verse? Now, you might have heard a different version of this shloka also. Sometimes they put Vakyakaram Vararuchim in the beginning, or sometimes they write Vrittikaram Vararuchim. It's all okay because it is not part of any text as such. It's there in the tradition. So sometimes some changes are there. But what is the shloka mainly telling? Now we can decipher the meaning by ourselves. Sada Vande Munitrayam. Vande is the verb. Aham Vande. I prostrate. I prostrate to whom? Munitrayam Vande. I prostrate to three munis. Three munis. Okay. Now, see how the word muni also comes. Okay. Mananat munihi. Okay. So, the person who reflects a lot is called as muni. Independent thinker who has reflected so much on the Shastra and has started a branch of science is generally called as Muni. Kapila Muni. Have you heard? Kapila Muni. You have heard. Kanada Muni. Okay. Technical term. Okay. Alright. So, Sada Vande Munitrayam. Aham Munitrayam Vande. I am saluting to three Munis. Munitrayam. Trayam means three. And how Sada Vande? I am always prostrating to these three munis. Who are these three munis? Bhashyakaram Patanjalim. I prostrate to Patanjali Rishi or Muni who is Bhashyakara. Huh? Vedji? Bhashyakara? But we say Bhashyakara is Shankaracharya ji. Yes. For the Vedanta Shastra, For the Vedanta Shastra, we say Bhashyakara is Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya. Why? Because he has written the Bhashya. Bhashya means commentary. Commentary on the Prasthanatraya. In Vedanta Shastra, the main three texts are Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. So on these three texts, Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya ji has written commentary Bhashya. Therefore, in Advaita Vedanta Shastra, Bhashyakara is Shankaracharya ji. In Vishishtadvaita Shastra, Vedanta, Bhashyakara will be Ramanujacharya. In Dvaita, Bhashyakara will be Madhvacharya. Okay? Sutrakara means the one who has written the sutras. For Vedanta Shastra, Sutrakara is Bhagavan Vedavyasa, who has written Brahma Sutra. But right now we are not studying about Vedanta Shastra. This is about Sanskrit Vyakarana. So, we say Bhashyakaram Patanjalim. Why? We will see. Why, etc. we will see. But he is the one who has written Bhashya of Sanskrit grammar. Patanjali, who the same Patanjali Rishi, okay, who has written Yoga Sutras. Today Patanjali is well known for various reasons, isn't it? The brand also has become famous now, Patanjali, right? But Yoga Sutra, who has written, this is the same Patanjali who has written commentary on Vyakarana, Panini Ashtadhyayi, right? So Bhashyakaram Patanjali. Vakyakaram Vararuchim. There is one more kind of text which is called as Vakya or Vritti. Now, you can say it is like a editing of the original text. Editing, critical editing. Not the critical edition as understood by the academicians today. That is different. That critical edition is when you have so many versions of the same text, then you analyze it and find out what was the original text like. That critical edition is different. That is done lot later. This is when the person is alive. That time itself somebody is editing. Okay, critically analyzing. So Vararuchi was the one who edited this or who added few things into this sutra. What is this sutra? Sutrakara is Panini. Panini has written Ashtadhyayi, the text which contains Ashtadhyaya, 8 chapters and 3,995 sutras are there. Now, to these sutras, Vararuchi has added few things. What do you mean added few things? One sutra will be there. Then Vararuchi will say, in this, what the word says is this, but it should be understood as this. So, he has done some editing. At is mentioned, but it should be an. In some places, he will say, Va. This sutra is correct by Panini, but one more word should be added, that it is optional sutra. It is not a compulsory sutra. Okay. So, Panini has written sutras. Then Vararuchi has edited and written Vakya or Vritti on that sutra. And on both these, now the compiled text which is there, Maharshi Patanjali has written Mahabhashya, the great commentary. Okay. So, I prostrate to these three munis. Why? Because these are the three munis who have given us Sanskrit Vyakarana. Okay. So, see the meaning. Aham Munitrayam Sadavande. I always salute the three munis. Who are the three munis? Sutrakaram Paninim. We start like this. Panini, the creator of sutras, aphorisms. If you remember right in the beginning when we were seeing different kinds of literature available in Sanskrit, we said in each of the Shastra, in each of the Darshana, there will be Sutra. Then there will be Bhashya. Then there will be Vritti. There will be Tika. Remember all these words we had seen? So, let us say for example, Yoga Sutra. So, for Yoga Darshana philosophy, there is a sutra written as Yoga Sutra by Patanjali. Then there will be a Bhashya on that. There will be Tika on that, etc. For Vedanta, we said Brahma Sutra, written by Vedavyasa. Then there are Bhashya. According to Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita and Advaita philosophy, 3 different people have written 3 different Bhashyas. And then there are Tikas. Anandgiri Tika, etc. is also there, available for Advaita Vedanta. Like that, there are Vrittis also will be there in some places. Okay. So, in each Shastra, there is this kind of Sutra, Vritti, Bhashya, Tika, etc. Different granthas are there. For Sanskrit Vyakarana, Panini is the one who has written this Sutra Grantha. Sutra, the word itself means aphorism, a small formula. So there will be collection of all those formulas. We have for Panini's Ashtadhyayi, 3995 sutras are there. For Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta philosophy, we have 555 sutras are there. So Sutrakara is Panini. Vakyakara or Vrittikara is Vararuchi. Vararuchi, who is the editor. And then also Bhashyakaram Patanjali. Patanjali is the commentator. So thus we have Sanskrit Shastra. Sanskrit Vyakarana-shastra. Okay, the science of Sanskrit grammar. Now, because these three are pioneers in creating that, therefore I always prostrate to these three munis. Okay? Alright. In the last session, we saw the story of Panini. Do you remember the story of Panini? We will be seeing it today again, little bit of that. But there is one misconception that Panini created Sanskrit grammar. That's a misconception. Why? Because, see, before Panini also Sanskrit grammar existed. Not just language existed, even grammar was there. So, it is said that there are total 9 systems of Sanskrit grammar. There are 9 systems of Sanskrit grammar. The list is here. 9 systems of Vyakarana Sanskrit grammar. What are they? Aindram, Chandram, Kashakritsnam, Kaumaram, Shakatayanam, Saraswatam, Cha Apishalam, Shakalam, Paniniyakam. So like all our things are, everything is in the form of verse. So Aindram, Chandram, Kashakritsnam, Kaumaram, Shakatayanam, Saraswatam, Chapishalam, Shakalam, Paniniyakam. These are the 9 systems of Vyakarana. Aindram, the system that came from Indra, Indra Dev. Chandram, the system that came from Chandra. Kashakritsnam must have been a great grammarian. Kaumaram came from Kumara. Shakatayanam, Shakatayana, his Kriti. Saraswatam, so Saraswata, somebody was there. Apishalam, so Apishala, somebody was there, Apishalam. Shakalam, Shakala is a well-known grammarian. Even Panini mentions him. And then the 9th system of Vyakarana was Paniniyam. Paniniyam means the system that came from Panini. Therefore, Paniniyam. Paniniya means that which came from Panini. The system created by Panini. So, there are 9 systems of Vyakarana. The 9th one is Panini's grammar. But because they say that system was so perfect that all the previous systems were discarded. And that's why Panini is celebrated as one of the greatest thinkers India has ever got. If we really study Ashtadhyayi, not that it must be studied, Adhyatma-shastra is the focus, there is no doubt about it. But suppose somebody has the interest and has the right age to study all these things, and if you really study Ashtadhyayi, you will see brilliance of Panini. You just wonder how everything he has included in that sutra. Sanskrit is such a vast language, such a vast language. There are so many words, and we already saw the beauty of Sanskrit also. To explain same word, there will be, to explain same meaning, there will be different words. One word itself will have many meanings. But in which meaning it will take which form see, language becomes beautiful when the grammar is very strong. I'll give you simple example. You go for a performance. okay, and you go for a performance, let us say dance performance you go to, and there is a group dance which they are putting forth, and they do something brilliant on stage. It is so beautiful, such a beautiful art form, and they as a team together they do something. We always know that if a group of dancers are coming on stage and creating magic, there has to be a well disciplined practice that made this possible. The beauty that we are seeing is result of some great hard work and discipline which happened in the background, and therefore we are seeing the beauty here, isn't it? Same way for a language. If Sanskrit language as such is so beautiful and it can come out with such gems, the main reason is the grammar that governs is so powerful and so well disciplined that there is no ambiguity, there is no confusion. Because of this groundwork of all these great munis, we have the language which is very beautiful. You see now the dancers, okay? Dancers, when they are practicing, they will also feel, there are so many rules. My hand, when I do like this, hand has to be straight, and she is hitting me here. Why? Because the hand has to be straight. You can't do. And then they will say that where your hand is going, there, that is where your eyes also should go. In dance, it all is very important, isn't it? Yato hastah tato drishtihi, yato drishtihi tato manah, isn't it? Yato manah tato bhavah, yato bhavah tato rasah. That rasa nishpatti will happen when you follow this entire system. Where your hand is going, that is where your eyes should go. Where your eyes, where mind will go. Where mind is going, there the feeling will come, bhava will come. And according to bhava, anubhava, vyabhichari bhava, sanchari bhava, etc., then that rasa nishpatti will happen. So initially when we are doing it, will look like, oh, there are too many rules. How is it going to matter? No. Stand on the toes. Not with the... See, so many things will be there. In the same way, when we are learning grammar, we will feel that why Panini is putting so many rules. Don't do like this, don't do like this. This is not right thing, then you should... That is because once that groundwork happens, then the language becomes so beautiful. Okay? People will see the final outcome. They don't know what all things have gone in the background. Okay? So, Panini is not the one who started grammar system. Actually, he ended all other systems. Before him, there existed so many other systems, 8 systems. Even you will see in Panini's Ashtadhyayi itself, in his Ashtadhyayi itself, he will mention some of these great grammarians of the past. And certain sutra which is given by certain grammarian, he will say, this I know from this grammarian. Lopa Shakalyasya, he will say, one sutra we also will be studying in Sandhi, Shakalyasya Lopaha. He has given, the Shakala has given previous grammarian, and he is telling, according to that, I know there is one option, and that is Lopaha, that it will get dropped, Lopa Shakalyasya. So, we will see that Panini himself is taking, see, that is the beauty of Indian culture. We learn from the tradition and we give something new. And therefore, because we have learned from the tradition, we always give, complete reference and reverence all to the tradition. Bhagavan Shri Krishna also quotes so many things from Upanishad. Why? Because it has come in that lineage. Same way Panini also does. Okay, so these are the 9 systems of Vyakarana. So who are the Munitraya? We have seen Panini. We saw there was a Shalanka or Panina, and Rishi was there, and Dakshi, his wife, and he wanted his son to be a great grammarian, but so he died early. So the Panini's mother, Dakshi, sent him to Takshashila University, but he could not mug up anything, he could not remember anything. He thought, I am an utter useless fellow, and he ran away from the university and went to Varanasi or Kailasha, they say, and he did tapasharya, and one day he got to see this Ananda Tandava of Lord Shiva. Remember the verse that we saw in the last class? Nrittavasane Nataraja Rajaha. Nanada Dhakkam Navapanchavaram. He played his damru. Who? Nataraja Rajaha, the king of all the artists, Lord Shiva, played his damru 14 times, Navapanchavaram. Uddhartu Kamas Sanakadi Siddhan. Why? To fulfill the wishes of the great Siddhas such as Sanat Kumara. Etat Vimarshe Shiva Sutra Jalam, and thus came about this Maheshwara Sutra. Right? So he got to see that Ananda Tandava, and he, by God's grace, by Lord Shiva's grace, Panini in one stroke saw all the words of Sanskrit language and their connections. And thus he could write this beautiful book or text called Ashtadhyayi. Treatise. Actually, you can say it is a PhD thesis. A huge one. Ashtadhyayi. 8 chapters are there, 3,996 sutras are there, almost 4,000 sutras are there, and this Ashtadhyayi is well known. All the rules of Sanskrit are put in this Ashtadhyayi. This is Panini, first of the Munitraya. Second is Vararuchi. Another name for Vararuchi is also Katyayana. Now this Katyayana, Vararuchi, was actually classmate of Panini in Takshashila. And he was so brilliant student and a scholar, Vararuchi. Okay. And Panini ran away from the university. And suddenly when he reappeared in the university, he is with this book. So they say they organized a Vyakarana-shastra. Sabha was organized. And all the grammarians of that time from all over Takshashila, see, we understand, we say now how it is possible. In today's university structure, etc., we have conferences. Don't we have conferences? In a particular topic, we tell conferences, and all the great thinkers of that stream from all over the world attend that conference. So that time also Takshashila University had some 100 plus courses. It was world renowned university. So immediately one conference was organized, Vyakarana Sabha was organized, to discuss this new system that Panini has come up with. Okay. And they say everyone opposed. And that is because any new thing comes, people don't appreciate it in the beginning. And they say one of the main opponent of that system was Vararuchi. Why? Because he was following Chandra Vyakarana. You saw no Aindram Chandram. So another system he was following, and he was so used to it, etc., he refused. So it is said that when he was opposing and he was criticizing Panini's Ashtadhyayi, etc., they must have, see, when you have to debate, it has to be accepted also, no, that thesis. So they must have studied that, and then he started refuting and criticizing this Panini's Ashtadhyayi, and they say from Lord Shiva one Hunkara came. One Hunkara came, and this Vararuchi forgot all the Chandra Vyakarana that he had studied before. Now his slate was clean. Now with this new thing, when he saw Panini's Ashtadhyayi, he said, this is the best. This is the best. And then he himself wrote Vartika. Vartika or Vritti, Vakya, what we said, no, that is called as Vartika. So this Vartika was written by Vararuchi. This Vartika is very interesting. Earlier also I had mentioned it sometime, that Vartika can explain something that is already there in the original text. Sometimes it explains. Sometimes it refutes the original text and corrects the original text. And sometimes it deletes the certain portion saying that no, this is not required. Without this, it is much better. So that kind of, what we say, responsible authority is given to this Vartikakara or Vrittikara or Vakyakara by the main author himself, that yes, you can edit my text. Okay. So that is how we have Vararuchi's Vartika also. So now when we are where I already told you that Sandhi Prakarana we will be studying by taking help of Panini's Ashtadhyayi. So in some places you will see that to one sutra Vararuchi has added something, and thus the meaning of the sutra now along with Vararuchi's addition will become perfect. So actually what Vararuchi has done is he has removed all the loopholes or the mistakes of Panini's Ashtadhyayi and made it a complete text, made it a perfect text. Okay. Second Muni is Vararuchi. Third Muni is Patanjali. One line is gone, that's okay. Patanjali is considered as avatar of Adishesha. I am going to explain this little bit. I have not mentioned anything much here. This Patanjali is very interesting character. Maybe in the next class, we will see one verse on Patanjali Maharshi. He is a great person. Pat Anjali. See how the word is formed. Pat is the dhatu. Patati, to fall. Dhatu is pat. Anjali means palms of hand. Palm is called as Anjali. Therefore, when both palms are together, we say Anjali Mudra. We prostrate to somebody. So they say there was a great Brahmana Kanya, Brahmana lady, and she used to give Arghya to Surya, Bhagwan, every day. Everybody used to do that. Nothing new. Nowadays we don't do, therefore we don't know. But otherwise they used to do every day. They say in her hands, one day, one child fell from the sky. Anjali means hands. Pat means fallen. Fallen in her hands was this Patanjali. Thus, he was named Patanjali. Okay. Now, this Patanjali is considered as avatar of Adishesha. Who is Adishesha? Adishesha, the snake which is there as the bed of Bhagavan Sri Mahavishnu. Bhagavan Mahavishnu is lying down, on that Shesha. That Shesha is called as Adishesha. Sheshanag, we say, the one with 1,000 hoods. He is the same Adishesha who came as Lakshmana. In some cultures, traditions, Balarama also, they say, was the same. When Vishnu Bhagavan took avatar as Sri Rama, so his younger brother Adishesha took avatar as Lakshmana. And in Krishna avatar, his elder brother Balarama was Adishesha's avatar. So Patanjali is considered to be the avatar of Adishesha, and he is most celebrated. He has written most celebrated commentary. Why? Because there are many reasons. One of the main reasons is that actually he has not refuted anything. Commentator is supposed to refute other philosophies, but he is so controlled, but the approach is so perfect that the and it's a very long commentary. Commentary on what? Commentary on Ashtadhyayi, along with the Vartika written by Vararuchi on this now compiled text. Now he has written commentary. That text, that commentary itself is called as Mahabhashya. The only commentary which is called as Mahabhashya. All other things are called as Bhashya. We say Shankara Bhashya, Bhashya written by Shankaracharya ji, Ramanuja Bhashya or Sri Bhashya, the Bhashya written by Ramanujacharya, Sri Bhashya also it is called, or Madhva Bhashya. But this is, the text itself is called as Mahabhashya. Okay. Today's story time. One more story I am remembering. Very interesting story this is. I had listened to it long back, some 10, 11 years back I had listened to this story. So this Patanjali is considered to be avatar of Adishesha, So they say when he used to teach Sanskrit grammar, he will take form of that Adishesha. Okay, with all the hoods, etc. So because the student should not get scared and all these things, he used to put curtain in between him and the student. So students will be sitting and this Patanjali Maharshi will take form of this Adishesha, and from 1,000 heads he will be teaching Sanskrit. It is It is also to say that 1000 heads are required to teach Sanskrit if you want to teach everything. So many heads. And students used to write. Only one condition was there. They used to study. Condition was there, you should not move the curtain. Now one day what happened, very interesting thing happened, that students were sitting, there was a curtain in between, and Patanjali Rishi, taking the form of this Adishesha, was teaching. One student wanted to go for Laghu Shanka, wanted to go to washroom. So he got up and he went. And the teaching continued, the students are listening, and suddenly those students felt that, what all the time our teacher teaches from behind the curtain. Maybe, he is not actually teaching, somebody else comes and teaches. What is there behind the curtain? So they opened the curtain. Now the moment they opened the curtain, the brilliance of that form, Adishesha form, was so much that they all died. They all got burnt there itself. And then suddenly this fellow came. Oh, Patanjali was already angry because I have put so much of efforts to teach this Sanskrit grammar to all these students, and because of their foolishness, all of them have died. And suddenly, when he is thinking like this, that one student comes. Now, in a way, Patanjali Rishi got more angry. Why did you leave the class? You didn't ask. You left the class. So he gave Shrapa to him that you become Brahma Rakshas. And then he remembered, Ayo, all the knowledge of Sanskrit which I have taught to all the students, all the other students are dead. And now one student was there who had listened to most of it. I have now given him Shrapa that, I have now given him curse that he will become Brahma Rakshasa. They always say Brahma Rakshasas are those who are very well learned, but they do some mistakes and therefore they become Brahma Rakshas. So he also became Brahma Rakshas. But then Patanjali Rishi called him and said that, you see, though you are becoming Brahma Rakshasa, but you will remember whatever I have taught. And what you should do is, you should find the right student and teach whatever I have taught in one go, without stopping. Then you will be released from this curse. The student said, that is okay. But how can I find whether the student is right or not? You said find a right student and teach. He said, you do one thing. Pach dhatu is there, pach dhatu. Okay. Twanta of pach, you should ask that student. You should do one test. Whoever will give correct answer, to that person you should give the knowledge. Now you see, what is this pach dhatu? I will just explain. Pach dhatu. Pach dhatu, to digest, to cook. All these words come from dhatu pach. Have you heard this? Pakwan. You have heard this? Pakwan. Pachati. All these coming from this pach dhatu. Now to this, twanta is when you add twa to the dhatu. Earlier also we had seen that when you add twa to a dhatu, the resultant becomes avyaya. I know most of you have forgotten, but we had seen this. Nama dhatu, you add twa, it becomes natwa, bhuktwa. Remember? Very good. So to this pach dhatu, when you add twa, the result, now you see, now with our minimum understanding of Sanskrit, we will say nama plus twa, natva, patha plus twa, patitva, correct. Like that, we may say patwa, okay, or we may say pachitva. That is why if Brahma Rakshasa asks us, we will not be good students. the twanta of pacha is pakwa. How, etc. Panini Ashtadhyayi explains how this happens, why this is happening, etc. Pakwa. Now, what was the point? The point was, he said to that student, if you ask this question and if the student answers, then he is the right student and you teach him this entire Vyakarana. So now this Brahma Rakshasa, now Patanjali's only Shishya who has understood grammar, now went and sat on top of a people tree. People tree is where generally Brahma Rakshasas are there. People tree, Ashwatha Vriksha also sometimes they say. So he sat there waiting, and whomever will pass from bottom, he will catch them and he will ask Sanskrit grammar question to find out. They say after a long time there was a Brahmana whose name was Vidyadhara. His name was Vidyadhara. He gave the correct answer. So immediately he caught him and put him in front of him on top of a tree. And he said, you are the right student, I am going to teach this entire grammar to you. Only when you study this grammar, I will be freed from this entire, Shrapa curse that I have got. So he started teaching grammar, and see, there is no classroom. He is sitting on a tree and studying. Okay, this is for 65 days continuously this Brahma Rakshasa taught and Vidyadhara studied. Okay, and now things are also, many things he will keep in his mind, many things he has to write. Now there is nothing, so he used to use the people tree's leaf and his own blood to write. Okay, so what happened by the end of 65 days, when he learnt everything, he was so gone that it is said that Brahma Rakshasa, his curse was lifted, he went away. Now this Brahmana was so, he could not even, he came down of the tree and then he could not go up to the river also to drink water. In between he fainted, unconscious. And they say one lady took this Brahmana to her house, took care of him, etc. And then later on, this Vidyadhara, this Brahmana, he became fine after a few days and he had all those things. And so the grammar as a tradition continued, but they say this Vidyadhara married 4 ladies, each from one caste. So one Brahman lady, one Kshatriya, one Vaishya and one Shudra lady. And this Vidyadhara had 4 sons, one from each of his wives. And all 4 of them are extremely famous. Okay. Who are the 4? So they say from the Brahmana Stri, the son that he got is Vararuchi. The Vararuchi, the second Muni. From the Kshatriya Stri, he got son named Vikramaditya. Raja Vikramaditya, on whose name we have now Vikrama Samvatsara going on even now. That Raja Vikramaditya. With the Vaishya lady, he got a son called Bhatti, great poet of Sanskrit language. Bhatti Kavya, if at all you have heard this word. Bhatti Kavya. He was such a good poet that his style of poetry is one of its kind and therefore has its own name called Bhatti Kavya. His style of poetry itself has generated one entire branch of poetry in Sanskrit, Bhatti Kavya. So Bhatti was the one who was born from that Vaishya Stri, and from Shudra Stri, Shudra wife, the son is Bhartruhari. Bhartruhari, another great person, great personality of India. This is the same Bhartruhari who has written Niti Shataka, Vairagya Shataka, all these beautiful texts. Okay, Bhartruhari. Beautiful. Okay, story. Point is what? I prostrate to these 3 munis. Panini, Vararuchi or Katyayana and Patanjali. Okay. Now don't ask me if Patanjali taught to this Brahma Rakshasa taught to Vidyadhara, then Vidyadhara's son is Vararuchi, then how? I never said that Patanjali gave Mahabhashya to all these people. That is his thesis. He wrote it much later. By the time Vararuchi must have been born and Panini Ashtadhyayi and everything came to be and all these things must have happened. I know some of the students who are in the class, they are very critical of all these things. For their benefit, I am telling. It is not that Mahabhashya is something that Patanjali Maharshi gave to all these things. He has written it. He himself was there. So he wrote this Mahabhashya much later after Panini and Vararuchi had written and compiled this Ashtadhyaya. Okay. So I prostrate to these three rishis. Thus we have Vyakarana-shastra. Earlier we had seen the word Samskrita means what? Samyak kritam. Samyak kritam, well done, is Samskrita. Now interestingly, the word Vyakarana also means same. See, Vyakarana, general meaning of Vyakarana we understand is grammar. Actually how this word is formed, V-A-Karana. V plus A, Vya. And then Karana, Vyakarana. Vyakarana. Now, V means what? Visheshena. Perfectly, beautifully. Asamantat. Completely. Karanam. To do something beautifully and completely is called as Vyakarana. Okay. So, the Sanskrit language itself is well done and its grammar also is well, beautifully and completely done. Another meaning of the word Vyakarana is Vyakriyate anena iti Vyakaranam. That by which Vyakriyate, analysis of the words is done. Analysis of the words is done. Okay? Because the topic has come, let me tell you. Vyakarana is called as Pada-shastra. Vyakarana is called as Pada-shastra. What do you mean Pada-shastra? Pada means what? Pada? Word. Suptingantam padam. Remember? So, Vyakarana tells how to form a word, how to understand meaning of a word. Vyakarana-shastra. Okay? Then there is something called as Vakya-shastra. Vakya-shastra. Vakya-shastra means a sentence is given in the entire text, how to understand the significance and the implication and the correct meaning of that sentence. We are not talking about grammar, understanding the meaning of the word. No, that is over now. Pada-shastra is Vyakarana. Vakya-shastra is Mimamsa. As a philosophy also, we have Mimamsa. What does it do? The entire Veda, it analyzes every single sentence, statement of the Veda. So, analyzing a word is called as Vyakarana. Analyzing a sentence in the context of the text, what does that sentence mean? That is called as Mimamsa. And then we have Pramana-shastra. Pramana means of knowledge. Valid means of knowledge is called as Pramana. So, the Shastra that explains what is the valid means of knowledge, what are the valid means. So, you must have heard Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, Shabda Pramana, 6 Pramanas generally that are accepted in Vedanta. So, who explains these Pramanas? What are the Pramanas? That is called as Nyaya Shastra or Nyaya. Okay. These three, they say, are the base for studying any science in Indian tradition. Therefore, in the traditional gurukulas of Vedanta, they will teach Vyakarana, they will teach Nyaya, and they will teach Mimamsa. And then they will come to Vedanta. And therefore, those Vyakarana, those gurukulas, etc., Vedanta, you need to be there for 12 to 15 years. Why? First 2 years only Vyakarana will be taught. Then couple of years only Nyaya will be taught, Mimamsa will be taught, and then you come to, Nyaya is logic actually. All the logic, Pramanas and everything is mentioned there. Okay. Okay. 3 important sciences streams. So you can say these were the compulsory subjects for all the students of that time's Gurukula. And then based on that you can choose your specialization subjects. These 3 are must. Then you may choose Rajaniti or Dharma Shastra or Vedanta Shastra or whatever you want to study, Ganita Shastra, whatever. But first thing is these 3. Now this is what Shankaracharya also in Taittiriya Bhashya, the commentary of Taittiriya Upanishad, in the beginning he prostrates to all the entire Guru Parampara. And there he says, Ya ime gurubhif purvam pada vakya pramanatah vyakhyataha sarva vedantaha tam nityam pranatosmaham. He says, I prostrate to all those teachers who taught pada, vakya and pramana. Pada Shastra, Vyakarana. Vakya Shastra, Mimamsa. And Pramana Shastra, which is Nyaya. He also mentions this. So, Vyakarana is that by which words are analyzed. You understand the meaning of the words by analyzing that words. Suppose you want to create a new word, you follow the rules of Vyakarana and you will be able to create a new word. And then how those words, what kind of words should be used to make a sentence, up to that Vyakarana works. After the sentence is there, now to understand the sentence in the context of the overall text, you have to go to the next Shastra called Vakya Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra. Then to understand the logic, etc. and what we say, pramanas, etc., anumana, pramana, etc. Anumana is inference. What kind of inference can be made, what exactly you want to prove, what is your hetu, what is the reason, where is the vyapti, all these kind of things comes under Nyaya Shastra. Okay, so three important sciences that we have in the tradition, in the Indian tradition. In that, first science is Vyakarana-shastra, Vyakriyate anina, that by which we analyze the words. Okay. Now, for Vyakarana-shastra, these are important texts. I just want you to know what all things we are not studying. Okay, but still we are trying to understand Vyakarana. You understand our limitations. Okay, these are all the texts that should be studied. We are taking little bit from all the texts and making it simple because the class is meant for that, Sanskrit for Shastra-study. Purpose is not to study Vyakarana. If you want to study Vyakarana, then you have to go to these texts. What are the texts? First is Ashtadhyayi, the most important text. Okay, written by Panini. Then I told you Vritti or Vakya or Vartika on that Ashtadhyayi written by Vararuchi or also called as Katyayana. Then we have Bhashya on this, Mahabhashya on this of Patanjali Rishi. Now, on this three, now these 3 are the main texts. You understand now? These 3 are the main texts. Now, problem is, without any prior understanding, you can't study these 3 texts. So, there is Kashika, the Tika also is there. Kayatas Tika also is there. Tika is again notes. You can say Tika is kind of notes. Notes on the Mahabhashya, notes on Ashtadhyayi, etc. Now, to study these texts, these are the 3 texts at the bottom which people study nowadays. What are the? One is called as Kashika Vritti or Paniniya Vritti. It's a beautiful text written by 2 people, Vamana and Jayaditya. Together they have written this text called Kashika Vritti. This Kashika text is the one that people study now for studying Ashtadhyayi. So, it is so to say further explanation on Ashtadhyayi, Mahabhashya, etc. everything put together. Further it is explained and one method to understand Ashtadhyayi, to study Ashtadhyayi. One method is called as Kashika. Kashika is a text. Okay, probably if you see the books, there will be 10 books. 10 books together called as Kashika Vritti. Okay. Alright. Another very well known text is called as Siddhanta Kaumudi. Bhattoji Dikshita's Siddhanta Kaumudi. So suppose you are studying Vyakarana, they will first ask you this question: are you studying Panini Ashtadhyayi from Kashika or Kaumudi? These are the two words that they will use. Please understand what is Kashika and Kaumudi. Kashika is the text written by Vamana and Jayaditya, which is called as Kashika Vritti, and another one is Siddhanta Kaumudi. Actually speaking, this Siddhanta Kaumudi is analysis of the sutras and the Siddhanta behind the sutra. Siddhanta means principle teaching. So clarification is given of each sutra. And what interesting thing happens here, Kashika as explanation follows the order of sutras as given in Ashtadhyayi. So the first sutra of Ashtadhyayi will be the first sutra explained in Kashika. Second sutra of Ashtadhyayi will be the second sutra explained in Kashika. It follows the order of Ashtadhyayi. Siddhanta Kaumudi doesn't follow the order of Ashtadhyayi. Why? Because it is doing analysis. So it starts with certain prakarana and all important things for that Siddhanta, all the sutras are taken together. Then the next set of sutras, then the next set of sutras, etc. are taken and written. Again, Siddhanta Kaumudi, very brilliant text of Bhattoji Dikshita, and sutra is there and vritti he mentions, explanation is there, and he analyzes each sutra. Suppose this word is not there in the sutra, then what will happen? If this word is not there, then what will happen? What is the example? Etc. He does this in Siddhanta Kaumudi. Yeah. On this Siddhanta, on these all texts, there are still commentaries, okay? It doesn't end. Siddhanta Kaumudi has commentary, Balamanorama, etc. Commentaries are there. Okay? Siddhanta Kaumudi. Now somebody said that this Siddhanta Kaumudi is very difficult, Bhattoji Dikshita Siddhanta Kaumudi. So next person, who is called Varadaraja, he wrote Madhya Siddhanta Kaumudi and Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. Two texts he wrote. It is like an abbreviated version of Siddhanta Kaumudi. So he takes from Siddhanta Kaumudi important sutras and important explanation only and removes all other things. So one set of abbreviation is editing is done or summarizing is done in Madhya Siddhanta Kaumudi. Then he writes it one more text called Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, where he summarizes even further. Okay? Most of the people who study grammar today study Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. That is how they start their grammar studies. Then when they go to BA Sanskrit, MA Sanskrit, etc. or Shastri, Acharya courses, etc., then they study Siddhanta Kaumudi. In the gurukulas of Vyakarana, etc., Kashika Vritti is taught. Okay? And some portions of Mahabhashya are taught. Then very rarely when the student is extremely interested and good, then they study the entire Mahabhashya. Okay? But today, even in India, there will be very few people who have not only studied but have mastered all these texts. You will have many people who have mastered Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, Madhya Siddhanta Kaumudi, Siddhanta Kaumudi, Kashika. You have lots of people. Okay? Very few people who have mastered all the, including the Mahabhashya, etc. Okay? This is Vyakarana-shastra. Okay? Now you understand why for many people studying Sanskrit is difficult. Now because the topic has come, let me also tell you one important thing. That is, it is not a criticism, but this is what I felt when I studied Siddhanta Kaumudi, portions of it, and Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, etc. Actually, Siddhanta Kaumudi, and again the two texts have come from Siddhanta Kaumudi. The basic thought behind writing Siddhanta Kaumudi was analyzing the principles of Vyakarana. It was not a teaching method of Ashtadhyayi. Today, Siddhanta Kaumudi is taught as a teaching method for Ashtadhyayi. I think the problem lies there. It is not a text which is written to teach Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi you want to study, you study Ashtadhyayi. So, Siddhanta Kaumudi discusses the principles, the philosophy behind why this sutra is like this, what should be there, etc., etc. It is more like an analysis, not a teaching methodology. But many people today teach Siddhanta Kaumudi as a methodology, as a text to study Ashtadhyayi. And I think there is some kind of change that is required in that. But the tradition has become strong, so actually we can't do much about it. But there are some efforts which are going, to change that also. There are also some people who have created their own methodologies of studying Ashtadhyayi. Okay, one great Mataji is there. Her name is Pushpa Dikshit. Pushpa Dikshit ji. She is a great scholar of Sanskrit grammar. She has developed her own method of Ashtadhyayi, studying Sanskrit grammar, which is called as Paushpiki Prakriya. Paushpiki Prakriya. Prakriya means methodology. Paushpiki is that which has been created by Pushpa. Paushpiki Prakriya. Great methodology. It explains how to understand. We saw lakaras and vibhaktis, etc. So she has explained how Ashtadhyayi in the same order should be understood, or what portions, etc. should be taken, and what order it should be studied, so that you understand the practical impacts of the sutras and how the sutras are used finally in the creation of a world or in the analysis of a world. So such great scholars do exist even today. Okay, just want to tell you how vast is grammar. Okay, and we are not studying the whole thing. We are only studying what is required for Shastra. Okay, but as I told you, the kind of study that we have done, in 45 classes or 46 classes, we have completed Avyayas and Vibhaktis and Lakaras, etc. If you go by this method, it would have taken 400 classes to study the same text, same concepts that we have done so far. But I wanted you to have a taste of this science. And therefore, in Sandhi, we are not going to see the Siddhanta Kaumudi way, analysis, etc. or even Laghu Siddhanta. Sometimes we may use Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi's Vrittis. Vrittis is one line explanation of Sutra, which is brilliant in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, because it is, you see, this Ashtadhyayi, Mahabhashya, etc. Siddhanta Kaumudi analyzes. Now that is concised in Madhya Siddhanta Kaumudi, still further concised in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. So what concised version which is available now in Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi is sometimes very, very apt, very easy for us to understand. So sometimes we will be seeing certain portions of Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi also for understanding this. Okay, but that is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to study now the Sandhi Prakarana, the topic of Sandhi, which we will be doing. Okay, today I know I have not taught any Sandhi as such, but the background was necessary. Okay, little bit of background. Generally, all these things are taught right at the beginning, but I didn't want to scare you. That's why after understanding, then now we have seen how exactly this entire Shastra has come about. Alright, so in the next session, we start with first Sandhi. Okay, we have already seen, so we will summarize the Maheshwara Sutras, how the Pratyaharas are made, etc. I know some of you have not understood the concept of Pratyahara very well. In time it will become clear. In next class also it will become clear. We will see the Pratyahara concept first, and then we will enter into actual Ach Sandhi, and we will study the first Sutra. Okay, in the next class. Alright, sufficient. I actually thought that I will start something, because I was thinking in my mind that the content that I have created for this class is not sufficient. I should have made one more thing, but actually speaking, I have not gone to the next slide. Whatever we discussed, finally, God wants something else. So lots of stories came today. Alright, chalo, let us continue in the next session. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.